Hello, light workers, light bearers, digital warriors, light warriors, and those with the light. Today is the last day of 2020, and tomorrow we move into 2021. And so I want to talk about that and what 2021 holds for us. I'll see you in the next bit. So, wow, 2020, what a year. What a year. And I know I've said this before, but we are going to look back on 2020 with fond memories. Because 2020 was the shift, was the beginning, the catalyst that brings us to change. 2020, you know, when I do therapy with people, I use a technique called the threshold technique. And what the threshold technique is this. Let's say somebody who has been treated really badly by the partner. Okay? I've done this one specifically. Somebody's had a really hard time from the partner. The partner has been abusive and controlling and horrible. And yet, they still love them. They still love them. And that's because they haven't been taken up to the threshold. So what happens is stuff happens, they do something horrible to the partner, and then they ask for forgiveness, and then that kind of gets put on the back burner, and then another thing gets put on the back burner, and the partner keeps forgiving and kind of forgetting. And so they know that they've done all of these bad things, and sometimes the partner's left them and they still love them. And so what I do is this: I get them to give me the top three worst things that person has done to them. And I just ask them to give me a code word. Okay? So it might be like abuse and violence and control. All right? And then what I start to do is I start to spin them through each memory, round and round. And I spin them round and I say, remember this time, and remember that time, and remember this time. And then I go back to the start, remember this time. And I take them round and I start pushing them up to the threshold. Okay? Because in this side, it's all love. I still love them. I know they're bad, but I still love them. How many times have we heard this? I've lost count. Okay? And I push them up to the threshold. And then there's a point where it's so overwhelming because I'm telling them, remember that, and remember what they did, and remember what they did, and feel it and see it. Okay? And there's a point where everything just goes pop. Where it goes pop. Boom. And what happens is that person has gone over the threshold. You see, we all have limits. We all say, well, that's my limit. And as long as people don't take me to the limit, have you heard people say, I'm at my wit's end? They've taken me to the limit. They've pushed me too far. Right? These are metaphors on how we perceive people's behavior. We allow them up to this point and this point no further. And so what my job is to get the person pushed over the limit, the threshold. What happens when somebody goes over the threshold is they can't go back. So once I've got somebody over the threshold, I say, now think about that person. What do you think about them? And normally it's like, well, that's it. It's over. They're bastard. I hate them. Okay? But it's not even that. They don't even get to hate. It's just like it's over. It's finished. It's done. There is no link. All right? So that's what the threshold thing is. 2020 has been our threshold. 2020 has been the year in which we have been pushed over the threshold. We've been pushed over the limit, pushed too far. We've got to our wit's end. And this is fantastic. This has been therapy. 2020 has been our therapy. And there's no turning back. And trust me that the next couple of months will also be the threshold point for many others, because people are just about like this. And I'm not talking about all people, all right? We've got, here in Spain, now this at least half of the population are saying no fucking way. Okay? In the UK, at least half of the population are saying you can stick that up your arse. Okay? In the US, at least half of the population are saying no way, man. Yeah, no way, man. And in Russia, more than half. Now, they're the ones that I know of. And just, if that's what's happening in those countries, it's happening all over the world. People are way past the threshold. What's happening now in the news here in Spain, I don't watch the news, by the way, but I do see the videos of people who, poor souls, who have to watch the news to then report what's happening. I watched a snippet of a Spanish doctor, paid doctor on, these are just false, fake, everything's fakery on the TV. So there's this fakery doctor who's promoting the vaccine. I've said the word, haven't I? But did it come out clearly? Who knows? Anyway, I might just take it out. So the fake doctor is promoting this, okay? So they've got the image of the fake doctor here. In the middle, they've got an image of somebody getting, because they always do that, by the way, when they want to promote it, they'll show you image after image of people getting it. And on this side, they've got another doctor who is cautious. I think they got him on because he was the one who said, I think we have to be cautious, okay? But he tricked them. Because this is happening more and more. So the fake doctor was saying, the other guy said, have you looked at the prospectus? Have you looked at the information that Pfizer is producing? And the fake one said, yes, and I see nothing that concerns me. Okay? And the other guy said, well, let's just have a look. And he started reading the Pfizer information, okay? This prospectus about that. And it was like, this is not guaranteed to help at all with the issue. And the other doctor was going, and he just listed all of the things which were just saying, this is not going to work. We can't guarantee this is going to work. We can't guarantee your safety. We can't guarantee. It was just a never-ending list of we cannot guarantee. The fake doctor had no words. He had nothing to say. He could just make sounds. It was like sounds. But sounds of like, I don't agree with you. But like, well, I mean, hey, just these sounds. And he looked ridiculous. While the man who actually had the information had sneaked on the TV and made sure that people hear it. This is because those doctors, and there are many hundreds of thousands of doctors that haven't been given a voice, who are over the threshold. They're over the limit. Now that I'm not speaking about the TikTok doctors. The TikTok doctors repulse me. They make me want to vomit when they are doing choreographed that clearly took hours to choreographed dances with all of the staff. Not one fucker in sight, excuse my language, in the hospital who appears to be ill. Speaking of that, it's horrible. I'm talking about the doctors who have been pushed over the threshold, who say enough is enough. And in Germany, I can't remember what percentage, it was something like 80% of all medical doctors are saying they will not have that. So, we are in fabulous times. There's a lady in the UK who is just currently visiting hospitals with a camera and walking around empty hospitals. We've seen it before. But off we go again. Empty hospitals when the UK is in tier 4 or whatever it is, tiers of lockdown. Okay? And then there's all these doctors that are coming out saying, wait a minute, how do you know that there's a new strain when we haven't even isolated the first one. And all the information's coming out about the fact that it's never been isolated. It's a fraud. Doctors are coming out saying it's a fraud. Anyway, and I know doctors have spoken out, but they've never had a voice. Suddenly, we're going to see the difference. We're going to see that the silent majority is no longer silent because they're over the threshold. And you see, what happens is when you get to that place, you become filled with righteous indignation. And this is my call out to you. I'm filled with righteous indignation. What does that mean? That means that I no longer accept the fact that they are trying to destroy mankind. I do not accept it. For that reason, I speak out, and I can't help but speak out because I'm filled with righteous indignation. The story of Jesus, when he came to the temple and he saw Jesus, the perfect man, he saw what they were doing in his father's temple. That's his words. And the money lenders were there, and all of the horrible people were using it as a business place. And he was filled with righteous indignation, and he went in and he beat the shit out of them and threw them out. And this was a perfect man. This was, according to the reports, the Son of God, just as we are, by the way. And so that righteous indignation is the indignation that we now have the right to feel. And what does that do to us? That makes us take action. 2021 is the year of action. 2021 is the year of saying, I will not I will not accept this shit anymore. And so, for example, it's all about rebellion, and it's about peaceful rebellion. Peaceful rebellion. What is peaceful rebellion? Peaceful rebellion is saying, I'm not following these guidelines. So now, for example, in Spain, you have to wear a mask when you go outside. You have to wear a mask. It's the law, but it's not the law. It's a guideline. When I go out, I don't wear one. I have it. So when I go out, I walk along. I don't have it. I have it in my hand. So people look and go, oh, he's got his mask. He's probably just going to put it on in a moment. And the only time I put it on is when I go into a supermarket because I want to buy my food for my family and I don't want any hassle. And I put it on. But I've shown you the one that I wear, which is, in fact, I've got it here, which is fabric that I bought off the internet that has holes in it. It's filled with holes. It's got tiny little holes in it. It's the thinnest, shittiest little bit of fabric ever. I made it myself. I bought some elastic and I sewed it myself, and it's got holes in. So, and I never put it over my nose. I only ever have it under, this is in the supermarket, only under my nose. My nose is always free because it's big and it can draw in a lot of fresh air. But it's full of holes. So it actually does fuck all. So, but it does cover my face, and therefore, so I use that in the supermarket. But outside, when I get out of the supermarket, it comes off, and people look at me, but I don't care, because what we need to start doing now is we need to start showing that we are defiant, that we do not consent anymore. We don't consent. Now, what's happening here in Spain, and I don't know if you remember, I mentioned that 2021 is going to be the year of freedom, restaurants, freedom bars, freedom travel, where not the freedom, because they've co-opted that word, it's incredible. They came to me, they're going to be using freedom words like freedom bar and everything. And then suddenly I saw freedom passport, which is your passport to say you've had that and you can travel. Yeah, even though it does nothing and it guarantees nothing, then you can travel. And so they've co-opted that, but that's not what I'm talking about. Here in Spain, we were listening to Channel 5, Spanish Channel 5. It's fantastic, obviously all in Spanish, and I'm going to tell you about that as well. But they were talking about a bar in Barcelona where the guy says to everybody when they come in, take your mask off. There's no masks here. There's no virus here. You can do what you like. Okay, that is the start. And remember, we're only 9-10 days into the age of Aquarius. this is the start of what we're going to see. We're going to see more and more people saying, enough of this, you come in and this is going to be a free, pandemic place. Okay, and that's going to happen. And there are people who are doing this, who've got lawyers behind them, who will fight the case to say it's illegal for them to do what they're doing. And it is illegal. It's illegal. But for example, Channel 5 that we listen to. Now it's our kind of people talking, and they've been thrown off YouTube now. Now they're on Twitch, and they stream and they do programs and they give you tons of information about what's happening. And when they started, they had barely 1,000 followers. And now in their Telegram page, they have 15,000. Right? This is only over the period of a couple of months. 15,000 followers, and they've got 5,000 people who just tune in live on Twitch, and they actually had 15,000, but because YouTube threw them off, it dropped down. But it doesn't matter; those people are still going to come back. So what I'm saying is this enormous growth of people who are coming off the fence. Okay, and this is, I suppose, this is the last message, the last bit for 2021. There is no fence anymore. There is no middle way, like Buddha. Buddha said the middle way. At the moment, we don't have a middle way. Okay, either you're for the cabal or you're against it, and it's. I don't like dichotomies. I don't like that. I like us to have choice. But what I'm saying is that the people who are trying to maintain themselves in the grey area are really having a hard time, because the information is so stark. There is, there isn't. It's terrible, it isn't terrible. It's real, it's a farce. And so there isn't really a middle way. And so it's time for us to make our stand, to take our side. And there will be people who will be left. As I listened to somebody yesterday who channels and everything, and he said there's a small amount of people who are in the middle way, in the grey area, and they'll have to shift. He said, but my feeling is that many of the people who are steeped in it will never come out of it. Okay. So maybe we'll be 50-50. Maybe this is the earth split that people are talking about, and they've talked about for a long time. Dolores Cannon talked about the earth split many years ago. Maybe that's what it is, that we begin to live two different kinds of lives. Who knows? I don't know what the earth split's going to mean, but I can see it happening. A divide. Those over the threshold, and those who know nothing. The zombies. The comatose, those who are deeply asleep. Let's see. The gut feel that I have is that what's going to happen over the next couple of months is going to be so radical that it is going to wake up a lot of people. It's going to wake up some people who at the moment are asleep. That's the gut feel that I have. I don't think it's over. The fat lady has not sung. So that's where we are. 2021 is going to be a year of change. It's going to be a year of renovation. It's going to be a year of re-establishing what it means to be human, to be part of humankind. And the fact that we have the word kind on the end, and I use that on purpose. Human beings, well, fair enough, but we're humankind. And it's going to be a return to kindness. It's going to be a return to common law, which is I do you no harm and you do me no harm. I respect you, you respect me. And so it's going to be the start. Of course, 2021 is only the commencement of a long journey that we're going to have. But it's going to be a long journey toward the light, toward beauty, toward wonderfulness. It's going to be a place we're going to get to in which it will be paradise. And yes, it's a bumpy road. Of course it is. But we need to start. We need to say, I don't consent anymore, and I will now start to rebel. That's what we need to do. We rebel in a peaceful way, always peaceful. You see, they are the violent, they are the cruel, they are the ugly, and we are the beautiful, and we are the peaceful, and we are the ones who do not consent. Have a beautiful evening, and I'll see you in 2021.